Hello again. Now, the domestic fries industry is crying foul after the International Trade Administration Commission imposed provisional anti-dumping duties on frozen potato chips imported from Belgium, Germany and the Netherlands. They argue that this will push up the price of food, making it more difficult for South African consumers to afford. Well, let's unpack this. I'm joined now by trade expert Donald MacKay. He's the CEO, the boss man himself, of XA Global Trade Advisors. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for your time. Welcome to today here, Donald. That's a nice bowl of chips you have there behind you. What's the problem? What is the problem here? What's the main problem? Because the International Trade Administration Commission has made this imposition of provisional duties, not South Africa. Where is the problem?
Well, so the allegation is that imported fries are entering the market, displacing domestic product, and ITAC, the International Trade Administration Commission, has responded by putting duties on imported chips from Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands.
Okay, so what's the impact then on us, on South Africa? Is this going to drive prices up to the consumer?
Yes, absolutely. So if we look at the prices of frozen chips from a year ago, it was around 16 Rand a kilo. It's at 30 Rand a kilo now, so about 88% up in the year. Not all of that is due to the duties, of course. We've had a declining exchange rate. We've had the war in Ukraine, which has pushed up the cost of things like oil. But certainly the prices are up, and there's a shortage of potatoes in the market that can be used to manufacture fries. And that, of course, is also adding to the price increase that we're looking at.
Well, import duties help a country to raise revenue and protect the local market. But these ones, you think they are more harmful than helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. So when there's a shortage and you impose duties, it's not as if the domestic industry can respond and produce more product. And so we have three producers in South Africa, one very large one, which is McCain, and then two smaller ones called Nature's Garden and Lambert's Bay Food. And those two smaller ones collectively account for around 20% of the imports. And out of Netherlands, particularly, around 40% of their imports. So if they were able to step into the gap, they wouldn't themselves be importing. So absolute shortage is real. Yeah.
Now, Donald, aren't potatoes and fries VAT exempt? Aren't they exempt from VAT? Can you impose duties on such products?
You can, but it's probably not a good idea. The VAT exemption is there, of course, to make these products more affordable for poorer consumers. So we're kind of giving with the one hand now and immediately taking with the other.
Yeah, so whatever benefit comes from having exempted potatoes and fries from VAT is cancelled out by these high import duties. I mean, the figure is staggering: 16 Rand a kilo in 2021 to 30 Rand a kilo in 2022. One wonders what would happen. What's the outlook like if you do not succeed in stopping these temporary import duties by the International Commission?
Well, so they've issued a letter recently stating that they intend to make them permanent. If that happens, these duties will be locked in for a 5-year period before they'll be reviewed again. So we'd be facing these inflated prices for a long period at a time when food inflation is a problem more generally, of course, not just on fries, but on all food items. So, yeah, it does appear to be a really bad idea at a particularly bad time.
Are you speaking to the Minister of Trade, Ibrahim Patel? Are you knocking on his door about this matter to do something? Because I think recently he suspended the additional duties on imported chicken from a number of countries.
We will absolutely be knocking on the minister's door. It's a little premature at the moment because ITAC still have an opportunity to resolve this before it gets to the minister. But that conversation with the minister will certainly be happening very soon when we plead for him to do the same thing he did with chicken, and at the very least suspend the implementation of the duties, but ideally, of course, decide to not implement them at all.
Yeah, but what can you do now? You said it's still early days regarding the minister, but what other interventions can you make now? I mean, South Africans, we love chips. If you come here to the ENCA newsroom on some days, everybody is having a packet of chips around in our newsroom here. I mean, the journalists, they seem to love this product. So what can you do besides while you are waiting and campaigning?
Well, the public should also be speaking up. This is a public interest issue, and I think when we deal with a food item particularly, we want to be very careful that we don't allow these issues to simply be imposed without notice. These are stealth taxes. You're unaware of them. They're not visible like your VAT is. But we overall, we levy an enormous amount of tax on our food. And if you think about it, you know, of all the things you want to do you really want to be pushing up the cost of food at a time like this? So, yeah, consumers should allow their voice to be heard.